Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some Izzet Corey Steel Cutter. I've been playing a lot of the best decks in the meta here recently just because I feel like it's a little bit easier with my work schedule to kind of play the best decks. But the main card we're focusing on in this Izzet Corey Steel Cutter deck today is going to be Draycatcher. I've seen a lot of discourse with this card, whether it's nuts or it's bad. Why are we playing a card that never worked into we're playing the best card ever printed? I don't know. It's really crazy how this card is going up and down in stock, whether it's the best card in the deck to be playing over a card like Slickshot that we all know is a fantastic card, and then this card kind of demanding its spots a little bit. So it's a little bit weird. So we're going to try it out today. I have not played it. I always felt like, as the outsider looking in, I was like, I feel like Draycatcher is like a cute card. Like when it's going really well, you're like, wow, this card's incredible. But I feel like oftentimes trying to play it on 2, you feel like, I'm going to play my 1-3. Please do not remove it. Then they remove it and you're like, ah, you got me. But if you can play it on 2, play Corey Steel on 3, along with the spell, Draycatcher hits, the Corey Steel is attacking. You get to make the incubate token, make the Drake. I totally get it. And with that said, we're just going to break down the deck super quick, as we have been doing for our early game threats. We have Storm Chasers and Swift Spear, and for our even earlier game threats, along with that, we have the 2 Hatchers, of course, along with Slick Shot and the namesake card of the deck, Corey Steel Cutter. If you somehow have been missing out on Standard, or even Modern at that case, because it's been a dominant card in Modern, I think it's an Izzet Phoenix and Pioneer, but is Pioneer a real format? Nobody really knows. But Corey Steel Cutter, with equipped creature gives 1/1, has haste. Flurry is the kind of key ability here. Whenever you cast a second spell each turn, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. You may attach this equipment to it. Very cool card, very fun card to be the one playing it. Going against it, not so much. I fully understand that. So it kind of rounds out our threats. And then we have Burst Lightning to go face, or remove pesky little creatures out of our way that are a problem. Opt for draw, sleight of hand for draw, stock up for draw, flood maul for any troublesome piece, and allows us to find lethal pretty easily, along with Monstrous Rage being not legal in some formats, but still legal in our standard format. So with that all said and done, there is a sideboard as well. This is a list from the challenge, but I also think this was played in Star City Games and another championship and stuff like that, where they've been playing some spicy cards in the sideboard, like Ral, which is pretty sweet, and the 2 Vacuums, which is right now the most represented card in all of standard gameplay. It's a sideboard card in literally every single deck, or a lot of the graveyard hate pieces because you have to play them, and Lynx for domain and stuff, Pyroclasm for kind of the mirror in a sense, with Stalker Frenzy for bigger creatures like Shieldred, Flood Maul, again, as it is so good, Spell Pierce for 2, and the 3rd Draycatcher in there as well. So with all that said and done, go ahead and dive into the games and show off what Draycatcher can do. Corey Steel on 2, triggering Prowess, and then Burst Lightning and Flood Maul something. Triggering Corey Steel. If we hit another land, even better, right? Sometimes when we play the best deck, it just all works out. Maybe a Temp Lockdown comes in and ruins our whole day, but with the Flood Maul, it shouldn't. That makes me think of Brotherhood End. I always think of worst case scenario, you know? It has to be Boros control then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go Corey Steel. Let's do as much value here as we can before we stock up next turn. And again, if there is a situation, this could be Jeff's Guide too. It's more likely Boros, but if there's a case where a Temp Lockdown comes in, you do have the answer. You just have to do it correctly, right? We'll see though. Torch, sure. We're pretty pumped it's not a Lightning Helix. A Helix would have been much worse. Maybe there's a Get Lost here. Okay. Feels illegal, but we're going to stock up. How do you beat a matchup kind of designed to beat you? You just draw every copy of Corey Steel Cutter, of course. Need land. Instantly will be turned on by everything, correct. Then here it's kind of optimal to take Storm Chasers to an extent, but Opt's probably better. Just because Opt obviously replaces itself. Yep. Sleight of hand's perfect to go along with it. Now we attack. Spray lockdown. Oh, it is Jeskai control. Okay. The blue is just now initiated. Obviously, they would have loved to have a counterspell for... Feel like we should have the lethal here. We're going to have 3 creatures with Prowess. Okay. And we just hold on to Slick Shot. Just to have a hasty creature that can finish the job. And unfortunately for our opponent, outside of that, a Braid, no interaction with the Corey Steel Cutter. So we come away with a win. Very cool. It's a hand to get me in trouble, isn't it? I feel like this is such a high yield hand that we have to keep, right? We really just need another land. I could conceal information. Go for sleight of hand next turn, just opt on their end step. Okay. Also gives us a little more information. I don't know, I guess we'll take. We hit another land as well. A little part of me wants to go Drake Hatcher here, because if it lives, I can then like slight, burst lightning, do all that, get the Prowess up, and then make a 2/2 dragon as well. It's 3 whenever it deals combat damage player, you put that many incubation counters. This is going to be where a little lack of my experience comes in, because I have not played Drake Hatcher all that much, so I don't know if it's worth just jamming right here. But best of one's also a different like gaming experience entirely into best of 3, so sometimes you do have to be a bit more aggressive. Also, burst lightning gets blown out by a monster shred, so that is something to be careful and mindful of. It's like lightning strike the Hatcher, hit me for 1 with hero, then it's just Corey Steel Cutter from us, burst lightning the hero, and then make a 2/2 and take the basically take back the lead. I feel like the only question here for them is what they're gonna do. 1 damage, sure. Going to do anything with your 2 mana? It's always hard to tell. We plot a Slick Shot and we find a Flood Maw. So I think I want to keep true to what I said, right? So I want to burst lightning the hero. We can always Flood Maw that. Or even make the Drake that can come in and block, right? So do I just Corey Steel, do Prowess, burst lightning, do another Prowess hit? That'll make 3. And then not the aggressive plan's super high. Yeah, it seems right to me. Don't tap my red, please. Thank you. Could be an argument to Flood Maul that, but I'm not sure either way. The monster trade still then saves this too, so it's we're kind of stuck in the same boat. Never mind, we're good. I thought I lost the incubate. I forgot that there are counters that I get to keep a hold of that I can activate at any time. I totally forgot I could do this at any point. I was like, dude, there's no way I just passed. Tell me you haven't played with a card without telling me you haven't played with a card. Didn't invest anything last turn to put the Slick Shot up here. Again, Monster Trade is going to do a lot of work here. It's +6 or +5. Putting it to 6, I was kind of... And it's going to blow up my artifact. Okay. Sure. That's fine to an extent. Obviously, we're not pumped about it. Now I get to play it weirdly. Play the hand, I guess. Like, we can get our prowess up. It's just not how high we can do it, right? A little part of me just thinks Monstrous Rage for 1 damage here is worth. Then we go to combat. This is 9. We can make 2 drakes here. I'll make 1. I mean, I'm just going to make them both, right? Now we have quite the brick wall to get past. Definitely have lethal in the ground. they at any point try to fling this or go for like a lethal line, we'll just take 1 damage and then flood maul it, saving kind of all of our life total here. We can definitely see them attack here, try to commit everything, and then potentially try to fling it at the end of combat. So we'll just double block. If this block just goes through, it just goes through. Sure. They have to respond again if they want to do something else. You'll get priority back after this resolves. They don't want to do anything else. And for 1 damage here, I guess I will tell you to put that back in your hand. Instead of 12, I'll take 1, and we'll win the game for it. So, very cool. Again, with the Drake Hatcher, that could be the wrong way to play it. Obviously, again, I think at best of 3, you can obviously afford to be patient, but in this matchup, I think it was pretty clear that we needed to be a bit aggressive, as threaten their life total as much as we could to kind of force them to commit all in. The card that red Prowess deck should probably be playing more of, just from the fact that it does answer the Corey Steal. Red typically has a good matchup against Corey Steal anyway, so it's a bit weird. Play this, we'll miss out on Prowess on Swift Spear, but then it's 1 damage. I think the math doesn't actually matter which way you do it, especially if you're on to play. An argument to play this, but I don't think so. I'm going to go for Swift Spear here. Do my 1 damage. Maybe they remove it, and then we can go into play this, whatever. This is like the extra Prowess, like, builds in the extra damage we need. Fire up the Storm Chasers. Go to combat, see if they use an Elspeth Smite here. I'll cast an Opt. It's not that committal. Or do I wait? I think I'm going to wait. We don't know if this is like the Omniscience pile or what, so it's a little bit weird. The Omniscience, that could have just been a bounce spell. They wanted us to commit a bit more. We're unsure. We'll opt now, though. But if it's control and a smite's available, opting there would have maybe put us in a little bit of trouble. Could be Spell Pierce, but I doubt it. I mean, I say I doubt it, but I don't even really doubt that, to be honest. I'm going to go for stock up. If they have Spell Pierce, it'll take their turn. Just auto-resolve. Sweet. So, I think it's Mountain plus Monstrous Rage. So next turn, I can look to play Slick Shot and double Monstrous Rage, especially if it's tap out turn. Could definitely be tap out in terms of like play temporary lockdown. No, it's not. Okay. Fortunately, we draw land, so it makes it a bit weird. Just playing Slick Shot here, we fall behind by 1, right? So, I mean, I'm going to go for as much damage as possible, and one of the reasons why is because if we can force them to use spells on our stuff, they won't necessarily get the chance to put Omniscience in their graveyard, right? Here. Expand this board a bit. Take a Burst Lightning. Good non-committal spell. Allow us to go face. If Burst Lightning's lethal, so they go to 11. We need to count 11 damage, so that'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to be exactly. So they have to interact with our board. Actually, but Burst Lightning saves us from Monstrous Rage, or saves us from losing to attempt lockdown. If they bounce Swift Spear, we can always play it again next turn. Yeah, we kind of assume so. There's just so much yet to play around. Them not showing us anything really is kind of like, is it still blue-white? Is it not? Here's Abuelo, so that's interesting enough. Down to 5. But my fear is they interact, they tempt lockdown the board, and then we're struggling the entire game from there. But I think this is a situation where we can just win the game outright. Play Corey Steelcutter. Triggering Prowess across the board. We want Swift Spear to be our second spell here. Although I'm not even sure about that, actually. I think it's actually supposed to be Burst Lightning plus Monstrous Rage. Well, no. Going wide at 5 is probably best, considering they're actually at 3. Sure. And then that should get it done regardless. And I'll just go for lethal. We don't have to overexert. No real point too. Let's just get the game over with, right? So, sweet. We win another one. We move on. Mountain would be good with this loaded red hand, but I think stock up's much better. Stock up can always help find other red sources, and if we rip another land here that's red anyway, we're gonna be pretty upset we didn't take the stock up, right? So, yeah, a red white land could be a lot of things. A lot of things. Yeah, sky control. It's Oculus. I lied about everything. There's an Oculus right away. You surprised by that? Not I, says me. I don't really care about this that much. We're gonna flood maul this back to their hand. So slick shot. Right here. And go to combat, attack. I think we have to cash in a spot like this. I mean, it's just so much damage. It's over. It's pretty much half their life total. Yeah, it is half their life total. They didn't take one yet off of any land source, so sure. Now a burst lightning or a torch of their own doesn't necessarily. I mean, torch can, but they have to sack the fear. Get it? And if their turn is like maybe draw for a way to bring back this Oculus and we just bounce it, we still have this flyer. We start off with the stock up. Could be a chance they remove it, but we're keeping the fact that 2 damage isn't going to remove it from play. I guess you have the blue-red card, right? Where they draw on the discard and shoot something for 3. I guess I didn't really think about that. A weird card. Because Oculus is like... You either see Oculus very often or you don't see it for like 2 weeks. And you kind of forget it's a deck and you assume everything is everything else, right? Like even Spell Pierce is technically a card that they play. A cycle here. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I think with a stock up, I'm perfectly cool with just bouncing this back to their hand. I understand I missed out on a little bit of prowess here, but I feel as though stock up plus an extra draw. My top 6, I should be able to find something, right? At least we would think. I'm going to play island, tap island, island. Cast a stock up here. Go up a bit. Quarry Steel, Swiss Spear. So Quarry Steel's good. I guess Swiss Spear is also good. We'll cast Sleight of Hand here. Look to find one more spell to go with all this stuff. Flood Maul's fantastic. Because now the ground creature doesn't matter that they might leave behind. Go to 4. We play Quarry Steel Cutter. We play Swiss Spear. We play Flood Maul. And we basically try to get the last 4 damage in the best we can. They have 4 mana, so obviously there's chances. That lowers their chances pretty substantially because now they only have 1 mana. Torch is a card that they could have. Oculus in. Now they'll have 4 creatures, but this will be tapped. They only actually have 3, but now they're tapped out. And they attack? Attacking here is wrong. I was going to say attacking there is 100% wrong in my mind. But with just the 1 flyer, flick shot plus the bounce spell, we'll win the game, and it doesn't really matter. Like, we kind of pretend it matters, but it just doesn't, right? So, to make it simple, do this. Bounce their flyer. I mean, I guess it goes to 4, not 3, because of the monstrous roll token. Bounce their only other thing. Make a thing, and then attack them for 6 in the air. Combat 6. Oculus is tapped, so it doesn't really matter. Flood Maul came in and saved the day. Very cool. Good mana this time comparatively last time, especially with how our hand's going to operate throughout this game. We'll land. We'll play Storm Chasers. And we'll go right into Drake Hatcher, I think. I think that's reasonable. All right. Keeping it anonymous, right? All right, all right, all right. Like when the homie opens the incognito browser in front of you, you don't know what they're up to. Like, oh, my bad. I didn't know I had it on that. And you're like, oh, yeah? Oh, dude. I've been watching a fitness channel. Will Tennyson? I don't know exactly how to say his, like, full name. But, man, it's been so funny and so enjoyable of a watch. It's just because he's just stupid. It's my favorite. So here we're gonna go up. Draycatcher is gonna be able to hit. We're gonna grab the Corey Steel Cutter. Obviously, we're gonna play this land. We're gonna move to combat here with a green and a colorless available. I'm like not afraid of any spell. I am afraid of like basic planes. Play a temp lockdown here, which is why we're gonna hold up our Flood Maul to bounce the lockdown. Maybe it's a Terra Sunder on the Storm Chasers. No, it ceased to draw a card. Okay. And I remember what happened to Draycatcher, so we're fine. I understand that I can do the thing. Overlord? Renin Realmbreaker. Interesting. Doesn't untap the land, right?
My roots touch every world.
Their hand? Okay. Well, they're done for the turn, so I'm gonna activate this, make it 2/2. Planeswalkers galore, so it's probably a Caretaker's Talent deck too. We don't have lethal by any means, right? So I mean, this Drake gets to go smack Ren upside the forehead, I believe. It could go Corey Steel. I'm still gonna play around Temp Lockdown and always have this like Flood Maul held up. I'm gonna commit my spell. At least I feel like I'm going to. Did I even play the Corey Steel Cutter? Or do I just play Swiss Spear and opt? I think that's the much better play here. If I do find a land, which we're going to do this first. If I do find the land. Oh, I could get hit with a board wipe, right? And it is what it is, I guess. Ah, man. Monster Trades find me lethal. That's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It puts them to 1. Ah. I wish, dude. I wish so bad. 2 damage going here. You're going there. A trick is we could have hit all attack and then unclicked 1 and done it the other way. 2 counters going there. We play land. We pass. Hold this Corey Steel Cutter. Because now they have to have, like, yeah, exactly. The other thing I was going to say is these aren't turned on. So they have to have a basic plains or a basic forest or even a surveil land. But then the surveil land doesn't work. Right. That explains where their life total went. I was like, how did their life total go up? Well, how are they still at 15? I hit them for at least... I thought I hit him for more than that. But, yeah. Alright, cool. Unfortunately, didn't really get to see much. But, man, was it a... interesting deck. Ryzen being, it's not, Ryzen is an incredible card, but definitely not the best card against a creature with Vigilantes on it. So yeah, sweet, we get it. Play the Verge right away. Play the Island. Play the Corey Steel. Save our spells. Hopeless Nightmare. Sure. I think because my entire hand's so low, I'm just gonna get rid of the land here. We're nuts. Boards off. Temporary lockdown's obviously a thing we have to worry about, which sucks, but it just is what it is. Sleight of hands, kind of all things that are good. I don't want to play the Slick Shot because I think it just makes it vulnerable to what we're talking about, and I'll take a Monstrous Rage. Play an opt. Here, trigger the Corey Steel. Storm Chaser is, I think, a card I'm willing to commit into this board, even if I do get Temporal Lockdown. Slick Shot can win the game on its own. I think having a card that goes under and produces like threats and stuff back once we find a Flood Maul is just worth it. Yeah, unfortunately that all happens. This is what it is. Let's just plot away here so we can kind of maybe have an explosive turn after this. 4 mana, United Battlefront maybe? Nothing. Okay. First Lightning is interesting. Probably a lot of removal here. Again, at some point, Flood Maul will be like an okay card that we hit. I think I'm going to commit a bit here. Against this matchup, it's all about trying to get underneath them before they get too settled in. And I do think we're going to be a bit slow on that tactic. Even if I had that other island, it's not helping with the cards that we've been drawing. Oh boy. Sure, it makes like cards like Stock Up way more explosive if we draw them. Sure. Yeah, I mean, this game's over. I'm good. Mulligan. We're going to test my theory, by the way. Our opponent mauled their mono red. They're on the play and they mulliganed. Gotta be mono red. Now the theory's out the window. I don't know what Tormod's up to. Eating on some graveyards, I know that. Don't know what Tormod's crypt is. It's 0-mana artifact that exiles graveyard. Tormod. Double mulligan. Oh, it's a form of aggro. First lightning maybe here. I'm not really sure. Definitely could just be more interaction. Maybe it's an opt they're holding. We'll have to hope our Swiss Spears are a bit aggressive enough to beat a Quarry Steel Cutter. It could be. Be a bit hard. Storm Chasers is actually an incredible draw that allows us to go incredibly wide and allowing our turns, our following turns, to be a bit more explosive with 3 Prowess triggers happening for everything across the board. It could have into the Flood Maul, of course, to bounce the Otter. The only downside of Quarry Steel Cutter is if you have sorcery speed spells, like a sorcery speed spell, like Sleight of Hand, you kind of have to do the weird thing of like cast them on your turn, or like, for example, a Drake Catcher here, they have to cast it on their turn, so they're now shields down, and we know that. Makes cards like Monster Rage and stuff super explosive, but our awkward red mana hand is becoming slightly a problem. Was slightly a problem. Do this. Trigger Prowess across the board. Then I guess I just cast Sleight of Hand here. Triggering the Quarry Steel Cutter. We'll just hold it back and attack for 9. I'm going to give them a free block entirely. I think we take the other blue source here, weirdly enough, just so I can guarantee cast 2 spells next turn. And we swing for 9. Kind of put them back on their back heel. Kind of crazy how close this game is, though. Considering. If they have a Monster Rage, which they did maul to 5, so, like, the likelihood... Ooh, that gives us really good chances. Like, it doesn't, but it does, right? Because if they want to trigger Quarry Steel again, they're going to have to cast another spell this turn. If it's a Monster Rage, that obviously is awful, because that would be able to make 2 Drakes. Which, if I... Is it how much damage it does to me? Deals combat damage to a player. Put that many. If I block with a 2-2, you only make 1 Drake. But at the same time... Cares? I guess, like, I don't care. They have 3 creatures left behind. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures wide. And they lose all their creatures in the exchange, right? They want a Monster Rage. Well, they'll make 2, I guess. I don't know. Interesting. Maybe it's just a Burst Lightning on my 2-2. We're actually okay with this. They can't really attack here. If they attack here, they lose. I mean, they can attack with the Drake Catcher. They attack with the 3-3. It's basically just signing out the game. Do not attack with the 3-3. There you go. They now have 4 blockers, so this game is now interesting. That is for sure. We'll play the Verge. We're not going to get much better mana than that. We obviously, earlier, the Canal's good, but we're just looking for pretty much any spells here. Outside of Stock Up. Pretty much looking for any spells here. That's a Swiss Spear. Obviously, I don't think it would have used our Shivan Reef, but Arena the Gathering does some silly goofy stuff sometimes. So we go for Opt. Now we're looking for any red spell whatsoever. Which the math might just be there anyway. I think it's slightly short by 1, but the math's there that they lose everything. Or we miss everything. Okay. Attack. I know they get to make a creature here, but I still think it's an all-out block they have to do. Could be wrong. Block. 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 Save. Go to 1. Their mana allows it. Then super pump here. I think if they trade the Drake Hatcher, they lose guaranteed. If they don't trade the Drake Hatcher, I think they still have a chance to win. They can obviously block the 2/3, but they could be afraid of a red spell, but maybe they're gonna block to just hopefully prevent losing. But I think with this game where they're at, you have to take the risk. If you block and you lose the creature, I mean, I guess you could block the 2/3. It's a little less of a risk. You should never block the 3/3 here. Yeah. That is good blocks. It's good blocking, see? So they have 3 cards in hand. They did stock up last turn. They did Burst Lightning a creature, though. Wish Spear is a good one. Storm Chasers, not necessarily as good, of course. We're looking for Monster Rage would be best draw. Burst Lightning would also just be good, I guess. Fortunately, we had to play this Verge for our extra blue mana to not really find anything. Maybe I was supposed to keep the Flood Maw. They can attack with this and make an extra blocker, so they'll go to 5. What would we draw here that would just not be good? Cards of Land. Wow. This is an incredible exchange of events, huh? No 2 spells can be cast. How all of a sudden we just got put on the back burner with some dead draws? Sleight of hand. We're okay with trading everything off here because Slick Shot plus Sleight of Hand will do it. Are we okay with attacking out? If we attack out, they make it 2/2. Well, the block's weird. This doesn't get traded. These 2 die, which essentially blocking does the same thing. We are. Back foot Andy. You're ready to go. It's also the thing with like our land tapped. If we were able to activate this and just grab like a card back, our Prowess would have been good enough. Might just grab a Burst Lightning out of their graveyard and use it. We obviously find pretty bad. Don't be a stock up. Oh boy, yeah. You want to talk about getting folded? It should be over. I don't even feel like we played it that bad. Just kind of some unfortunate. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the Flood Maw, but I think with what they had 5 creatures anyway, we bounced the Drake Hatcher. I guess we would have won. Well, no, they would have just taken 2. And yeah, we still would have lost there, so it doesn't really matter that much. Kind of have to hope their top 5 are duds. We have a little bit more life to play with. All out, huh? They show their last card in hand, so now we just have to do math. All right. Last card in hand shown. All we need to be able to do is play Slick Shot, move the Corey Steel, Monstrous Rage over. So is this possible doing this? 3, 6. We completely block over this, right? I mean, I guess block here. So we completely block this. And this has to deal damage to a player. And then I block here. I take 2. I take 3 for 5, 6, 7. Sure. On the 2. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, right? We're going to play out our whole hand, though. As though it might. Yeah, I mean, you. Here. Into here. On a Maul to 5. I mean, that's a crazy hand from them, right? We cast a sleight of hand. Pine Iron Draycaster and another Corey Steelcutter. That was a crazy game. I mean, incredible game by them, too. I mean, mauling down that low and almost pulling it out. It's crazy work. And that was way tighter than I thought it was going to be. All right, so here we are talking about the deck a little bit. The Draycatcher was the main kind of feature to the deck, and weirdly enough, this does matter to some people, and it also matters to me, but like a weird thing to point out is no more Surveil land, no tap lands at all, which I absolutely love, outside of obviously the Canal, but this land is just too good for a Prowess deck early to not be playing 4 of. Having both mana on turns 1 through 3 come in untapped is awesome in this deck. We're also super low to the ground. No Screaming Nemesis up here. No other 3 mana cards like the Light Shatter and things like that. So works out well overall up here. And we are playing the Hatcher and 2 Slick Shots. It's just weird. The Slick Shot's so good, but I guess the Hatcher provides so much value that you kind of want to play it because you really only need small amounts of creatures to get through, because Corey Steel and Corey Steel's going to do the job for you along with the Storm Chasers and the Swift Spear. So it finds a bit weird balance where it's like the extra 2/2s from this could be everything that you ever want. So other than that, obviously there's the sideboard, the Links, the Rouse, the Spell Pierces, the Torch, the Vacuum, the other Hatcher. I think there's only one more, yeah. So going up to 3. A lot of people love this card. I felt like it did good today. I think my opponent in the last game also had it doing pretty much what it's there to do. It's good. It's a good card. It always just feels a little bit weird because I always feel like every time I play this card, I want to be playing Wild Run, which I'm going to be doing absurd things with that card when Vivi comes out. But Wild Run is this card. It's like Monstrous Rage, but a bit worse. Oh, is it Wild's Run? Run? Am I wrong on everything this card knows and loves? 1 mana, instant. No, it's a sorcery. I got it, team. Blacks. If I don't have it, I will have no idea what I'm doing. Where are you at? Wild Ride. It's not Run. Boo. But this card is pretty sweet. I always thought this card should be something to look at when it comes to playing Draycatcher, because immediately the problem is it goes a little overboard. But if you could play the Hatcher and then do this, you immediately get to make that thing, like to make the Drake, and that's pretty sweet. But then it doesn't really provide much else. I guess you get left over with 2 incubate counters, so if you do some damage later, it's good. But Monstrous Rage is just so dominant in that space that it's like you're never playing it over this. But I do think playing this with a Vivi is pretty cool, because you can attack with Vivi and then make mana during like combat, cast a lot more instant speed spells and stuff. It's gonna be weird. I like the way I like Vivi coming out. Now, will Corey Steel be there much longer after? Who knows, dude? With our glorious Kings, Wizards of the Coast, who knows? But outside of all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Anyway, I understand Corey Steel cutter decks kind of have like you're on one side of the fence. You either hate the deck or you love it. So I fully understand people who might not like the deck, and I understand the people who love the deck, especially like one of the people I work for is a big Corey Steel cutter fan. He thinks it should be banned in standard, but he's also like, I love the card functionally. He's like, it's one of the most fun cards I've ever played with. But I can admit when a card's a little too strong for standard. But at the end of the day, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.